Some things in disc golf are inevitable, like Ricky Wysocki winning another major, or Simon Lizotte getting another ace, or a disc golf company suing a professional player. In the history of disc golf, brands have had players come and go. Some contracts are public, others are not. So when players suddenly drop their contract and leave that company for another, we don't know much about what happened. We just know that it did. The company we're going to be focusing on today seems to be the first company to not let a player just leave for free. Instead, they have decided to enter a public lawsuit and risk being torn apart by the media, which had already been happening for other reasons. From manufacturing issues to suing players trying to leave, this is the fall of Prodigy discs. Here we go. Before we get in the video, I want to show you guys something we've been working on. I have partnered up with Whale Sacs to bring you guys an RM disc golf product. A Whale Sac is a tie-on whale-shaped grip bag that is designed to dry your wet or sweaty hands. I wanted to partner with a brand that I actually use, and I've carried a Whale for the last 2 years. They turned out awesome, very proud of what we have come up with. If you want to support the channel and support a great brand like Whale Sacs, make sure to go check them out. Link is in the description below. After a couple years of testing, Prodigy discs would launch in 2013. Backed by professional disc golfers, they did something profound to bring players on. They gave stake in the company to the early players that decided to join the brand. With a lot of big name pros being a part of it early on, they had quick hype and publicity. Players were winning and doing that while being sponsored by Prodigy. There was some rumors of players stripping stamps off of other discs and putting Prodigy on instead, but other than that, the company was growing. Big names would come and big names would go. As each year came, the new discs were PGA approved, and slowly but surely the brand of Prodigy discs became a top tier disc golf company. Now, to understand one of, if not the biggest issue in the history of disc golf manufacturing, we must first understand flashing. As disc golfers, we have all dealt with this in one way or another, probably without knowing the proper terminology of what is happening. In disc golf manufacturing, injection molding is the process by which discs are made. Flashing is the term used for the excess plastic that is leaked out between the edges of the molds. This can cause a sharp edge on the rim of the disc. Now, companies trim this off in the factory, which is why it's not that big of a deal, because for most discs you're going to hold, you won't notice it. But sometimes they miss it and you might have a little flashing on the disc, which makes it uncomfortable to throw. I can't determine if it was due to the uptick in COVID sales or maybe for Prodigy it was earlier than that, but they have a huge flashing issue. I started playing disc golf in 2020 and every Prodigy disc that I tried, which was new, was incredibly sharp and uncomfortable. But it's not just me who has noticed, the disc golf world noticed too. They have been memed and torn apart on the internet for it, but it's a huge issue with their brand. You can't let that many discs come out of your factory with that much flashing. I have a Prodigy disc that I bought 3 years ago that I have set aside for whenever I have to explain to someone what flashing is. I have the perfect example. Also, no one wants to take it off my hands because it feels terrible. The perception of the brand of Prodigy of late has been the quality of their discs. I've thrown older discs from them and have been fine with the way they feel, but as of late, it's been really hard to get a hold of a Prodigy disc that doesn't have flashing. They have gone lengths to try to fix this issue, such as completely swapping one for one with some retailers to help them get new Prodigy discs out on the market for disc golfers to try. But the damage has already been done. Quality doesn't seem to be there for the company, and this is just the first step of the spiral Prodigy is about to be sent on. On February 13th, 2023, an announcement came from Gannon Buhr. He was officially leaving Prodigy discs. This announcement on his channel was precise. He would go on to thank the company, thank his friends and family, and that he was moving forward in the 2023 without Prodigy discs. Didn't seem like he was intended to harm Prodigy in any way. He was just telling the disc golf world that he would be pursuing a future without them. This was about a month after Simon Lizotte announced he was leaving Discmania. This was nowhere near as heartfelt of a video like that, but still, it was a good way to say goodbye. But all of this came as a bit of a shock, because just 1 month ago, on January 11th, Prodigy discs had announced on Instagram their 2023 professional core team, and on that team would be Gannon Buhr. So, what happened in between then and now, where Gannon is saying goodbye to the brand he's been a part of since the beginning of his career? The off-season news had settled a bit. Now, upon the announcement of him leaving, the disc golf world was thrown into chaos. This was just 1 week before the All-Star event for the Disc Golf Pro Tour. Now, no one knew who Gannon Buhr was going to be throwing for. In his announcement, he didn't talk about or even hint at any new brands he would be signing with. Most of us assumed it was to build the tension, probably another company announcement like Simon had. The disc golf scene was excited. I just don't think anyone expected what was going to happen next in the Gannon Buhr vs. Prodigy saga. During the 2023 All-Star event, Gannon still hadn't announced his new company he would be partnering with. He was throwing some unstamped discs at the event. Other shots were suspected to be using Prodigy still. The funniest rumor I saw was that Gannon's caddy and friend was now wearing Discmania clothing, so that obviously was where he would be going. Discmania did seem like the likeliest of choices, but we have been shocked before in the past by decisions, so nothing confirmed yet. But on February 19th, the final day of the All-Star event, an article dropped from Ultiworld. Prodigy discs, 2 days after Gannon announced he was leaving them, would file a lawsuit against Gannon Buhr. They would be suing him for an early termination of his endorsement contract with the company. In this article, we got some specifics on what was actually going on with the whole situation. In November of 2022, Buhr, who was underage, and his mother, who co-signed the contract, reached out to Prodigy for Gannon to be released from his contract. Prodigy responded Gannon with, "We want to restructure and renegotiate his deal." On January 13th, Gannon Buhr would invoke a 30-day clock to terminate the contract on the basis of multiple breaches. Prodigy's attorney denied these breaches, so on February 13th, Gannon's lawyers followed up with a letter announcing the breaking of the contract since the breaches hadn't been cured. The following are the 5 items that Buhr is claiming as breached of the endorsement contract on Prodigy's side. Number 1, Buhr didn't receive a PGA Rookie of the Year commemorative disc. Number 2, Buhr did not receive regular sales reports to verify royalty payments on disc sales. Number 3, Buhr did not get to select which signature discs he would receive, and that he was promised 2 but only received 1, which has negatively impacted his potential earnings. Number 4, Prodigy disc quality is poor and the molds are inconsistent, and that he has made such complaints known as far back as June 2021, with flashing being a particular quality control concern. Number 5, that he was owed $500 in unpaid bonuses. Prodigy would have a 30-day cure period, which is what the 30 days between January 13th and February 13th were. During that time, they paid him $500 in unpaid bonuses and gave him reports on sales. They said the other issues did not qualify for breach of contract. The disc golf world was shocked. This was the first time we get to see a disc golf company sue a professional player. In regards to the court case, they had an initial hearing and then another hearing on March 3rd. Nothing much has come out of what is going on with the case. It might be a really long time before we find out what will happen. Currently, Prodigy is suing Gannon for trying to leave his contract early. They wish him to fulfill his contract through 2023, bar him from signing with another disc golf company, and also they want him to pay monetary damages to Prodigy for what his leaving has done to the company. In the court filings, they have social media posts and memes, one of which shows Gannon Buhr next to a Prodigy tombstone. They claim that Buhr leaving possibly would be a setback they never recover from, especially when he is claiming something is wrong with their discs. As the disc golf fans dived into the news, some funny revelations came out of the whole situation. Prodigy claimed that when Gannon left them, he was leaving them without a high-profile athlete under a contract, which is pretty much a great way to roast your own team when you have players like Kevin Jones, Isaac Robinson, and Cale LaVisca. Now, Gannon may be better than them, but Kevin Jones is definitely up there if you're going to call them high-profile athletes in disc golf. With the first event of the year happening, Gannon was forced to still throw Prodigy discs due to what was happening with the lawsuit. He played okay at the start of the event, but after round 1, he just kind of teetered off, finishing in 30th place at the same tournament in 2022 where he lost in a playoff. Regardless of whatever is said, it's got to be hard for this not to affect him. The game plan for 2023 was probably to have another brand on his bag at this moment. Now that's been taken away and he has to go back throwing older discs he had with Prodigy. Just recently, though, he would win the Memorial in incredible fashion by defeating Aaron Gossage and Anthony Barella in a 3-way playoff. So maybe not affecting him as much at this tournament, or maybe he just needed to get the rust off. Prodigy have had manufacturing issues for years now, but this makes it settle in way worse now that they have a public lawsuit going where the player they are suing has claimed they have quality issues for him all the way back in 2021. Social media can be a very negative place, we all know this, but after the announcement that Prodigy would be suing an underage disc golfer, it didn't go over well. They have been ripped apart on multiple platforms over and over again. Regardless of who is actually in fault here, it's caused and will continue to cause damage to the brand of Prodigy. We know players have been leaving contracts early. It was inevitable that one of these companies who is going to sue sooner or later. It just happens to be that Prodigy is the first to publicly stand against these actions. Again, doesn't matter who's at fault here, it's public and it's damaging to the image. You, as a company, are suing an underage disc golfer who is on the rise, possibly on his way to becoming one of, if not the greatest disc golfers ever. Alongside that, they have let too many discs come out of their factories with flashing issues, causing those who try out Prodigy for the first time to hate the feel of them. The fall of Prodigy discs has begun. but it's rooted in years of quality issues. Now it's all out there for the disc golf world to see as they choose to sue a disc golfer who's trying to leave their company. The perception of what your brand is everything, and I don't think Prodigy can recover from what is happening to them. Gannon's decision to leave may have caused them some issues, but the choice by Prodigy to sue him has led to many, many more. I don't know what the future holds for them, but currently they sit on the wrong side of history for disc golf. Thanks for watching, guys. Check out RM Disc Golf for more videos just like this. If you want to support the channel and a great brand like Whale Sacs, go get your RM Disc Golf Whale Sacs using the link in the description. Let me know in the comments what you think of the whole situation with Prodigy and how this is all going to play out. Alright, we'll see you next time. Cheers.